All right. So in our last session, introductory call, I briefly about all this, right? So we understood about the business intelligence, the descriptive, predictive, and autonomous BI, and we looked at the Power BI and the other BI solutions. We also looked at the 4 different Power BI components. So do you remember which are the 4 different Power BI components? What are the 4 different Power BI components? Power BI desktop and Power BI
Mobile.
mobile, services, and the gateway, right? These are the 4 different components. We are going to install Power BI desktop today. Power BI service is used for sharing and collaboration, right? And then mobile is the mobile app, and the gateway is used as a bridge between Power BI and our on-premises data to create a connection. And then we understood about the different Power BI licenses and also briefly talked about the future of finance and then future of the Power BI, right? Now today, after this, what is next is today we are going to install the Power BI desktop. We will also understand the Power BI user interface, okay? The look and feel and what are the different features and functionalities inside Power BI. And then for this week, what is pending is tomorrow we are going to import and connect the data. So we will import the data from different sources. Like we start with importing 3 different data sets: customer data from SQL Server, and then we will import our revenue data from Excel, and then date from CSV. And the other data sets like GL, budget, opening balance, AR, headcount, and there are a few other data sets. All this we will be importing as and when we start the P&L and other reporting, other reports. Okay, and then after importing the data, then we will also this week, learn what is Power Query, how to use Power Query, and then understand the UI of Power Query. Okay, before we move to the cleaning and transforming data in week 2, and then understanding the data modeling in week 3, followed by our first assessment and assignment. So this is in agenda for this week. So installing Power BI desktop. See, there are the different methods to install the Power BI desktop. How many of you have the Power BI desktop already installed? Can you just confirm in the chat box or unmute? Okay, Om has already installed. Okay, Meghna, yes. Okay, Vinil has. Okay, so if you don't have the Power BI already installed, or yes, and Amit. So if you have not installed Power BI desktop, there are a couple of methods to install Power BI desktop. One, you can install from the Google, from the Microsoft official store. But I would suggest installing the Power BI desktop. The best approach is go to your Microsoft store. So if you open the start menu, you have the Microsoft store, right? So open the Microsoft store. Now you can search for Microsoft Power BI desktop here. Okay, so search for the desktop here, and then the first one is the Power BI desktop application. So if it is not installed, you can install it by clicking the install button here. Okay, so you will find you. So like the other applications, you can just open the let's say open this and then open the application, and then you'll get this button get and install it. And it is a very easy process to install. Within a few clicks, you will be able to install your Power BI desktop. Okay, so install Power BI desktop from the official Microsoft store. Now, what is the advantage? The advantage is that Microsoft publishes new updates very frequently, especially for Power BI. There are frequent updates coming in. So if you have installed the Power BI from the Microsoft store, then the upgrade will be automatically processed. Otherwise, you need to install the latest version whenever there is an upgrade. So this is the best approach. Now, once you have the Power BI installed, you will be able to find Power BI. If it starts typing Power BI desktop, and you will find the Power BI desktop here. So open the Power BI desktop and let's look at what do you find inside Power BI. So this is the desktop application, the standalone application which is used to build the reports. So you can use Power BI desktop to connect to different data sources. You can use Power BI desktop to clean and transform your data, build your model, build your reports, and then you can also publish your reports from the desktop to the cloud. Okay. So we have a few buttons here, home and open. Open is to open an existing report. You also have the options and settings here. So we need to make a few changes to the options and settings. We will do that later. You will find the recently opened Power BI files here, and then Power BI is giving us an option, this various sources to get started. So we can connect to one of these sources to get started or open a blank report. So let us open a blank report. So this is how the first look when you open a blank report. This is what you see when you open the Power BI. Now it looks to an extent, it looks similar to Excel, right? What do we have? If you are already familiar with Excel, okay, a few things look, similar to Excel. Especially you have the different tabs here and the ribbon area here. Okay, so there are various commands which are organized under different tabs. You also have this area which is called a canvas, and this is the space you will use to build your report. Okay, and on the left side you have the report view, and this is the report view, the default view which is used to build the report. You also have the table view which is used to view the data, and also you can create additional columns using measures using DAX. So we look at it later. And then you have the model view. This is where you build the relationship between the data. So you have the report. This is where you build the report. This is where you view your data after importing, and this is where you connect your data together. So because the data comes from different sources, right? You have sales data coming from one file. You have your customer data. You have your GL data. So there are different data sets, and this is where we start connecting the data together, because unless we connect the data, we cannot create meaningful insights. And then you also have the DAX query view, which is used to evaluate your DAX query. I'll brief you that later. And then we have the template view, which is basically to work with your model and the tables, and then for version control and making bulk changes. So these two are advanced topics. We will briefly touch upon these topics later. Let's first what we do is let's first import a data set to Power BI. Now the way it is organized is like this. So if you click here the home tab here, under home tab, you have the data here. If you look at the very first section here, very first group here, it is the data. What is data? Data means this is where you start importing your data to Power BI. And then after importing the data, look at the next one, queries. This is where you start cleaning and transforming your data. So you have the data cleaning and transformation, because we know that the data that you import to Power BI, it may not be clean always, right? So this is where you start transforming your data. And what is this refresh? So once you connect to a data set, for example, you imported your GL data. Next month the GL changes. So how do you refresh? So you update your source data and then click the refresh button here, and then Power BI automatically process the refresh. Now once the data is ready, then you can insert your visuals. There are different visuals. You can insert a new visual, or you can create a text box, and you can get more visuals from here, right? If you want to import a new visual from the App Store, which is not available here in our default visuals, you can use this. And once you build your visual, you may want to build a lot of different calculations, right? Let's say that you build a very basic visual like a sales total, but then if you want to calculate sales variance, you want to calculate current year versus previous year's sales. For all that, we need to build calculations. So the next section is about calculations, right? And then we have the sensitivity classification, and the important one is the publish. So once we build the calculations, once the report is ready, so we need to publish the Power BI to the people, the business users, and we use this publish button to publish this report to business users. And this is the Copilot inside Power BI. So you can use Copilot for asking questions and then building DAX or building a visual, right? This is the AI, Microsoft's AI solution inside Power BI. Okay. So now this is the home tab. So let's first get one data file into Power BI. So how do we get the data file? See, Power BI has various connectors. So we will go through these connectors later. But for now, I'm clicking this Excel workbook. So click the Excel workbook. So let's browse for the file. So I'll connect to my folder and let's say revenue by customer. Click next. Now you see the file on the left. So what is sheet 1? Sheet 1 is basically the name of the sheet. Okay, the Excel sheet name. So if there are multiple sheets, you can insert multiple sheets. And then you have the options here. You can either use the cancel, which will cancel this operation, or you can directly load this data into Power BI. Okay, instead of loading the data, you can also click on this transform data, which will take you to Power Query, which is the transformation tool. And what is transform data? Transform data means we need to clean and transform the data to remove the columns, unwanted blank rows, and all that. If you look at this preview, you see that here we have many blank rows, and then we have the columns, right? So for now, let us not clean and transform. I am directly loading the data. So I click load data. Now Power BI is loading the data, and it is also establishing a connection between the Excel file and then the Power BI. Okay. So there are few errors, which is fine. So we just want to understand the user interface. So are we good so far? Is this clear so far? Any questions? Just give me a confirmation clear if this is all good. So now, so where is our data? So we just imported the data, right? So the data is showing here. So if you look at this, this is the sheet 1. And then if you expand here, we find all these columns inside the data. And why is it showing column 1 and all this? Because we have not cleaned and transformed the data. Now, this is the report view, and this is the table view. So table view, if you click the sheet 1 here, it shows a preview of the table. See, so here you can build additional columns using calculations. So you can build new columns using calculations, which are called calculated columns. And then you can also change the data type. So this is text, the customer name column, and data type text. And then you can also sort the column here. Okay, so we can do all this in Power Query as well. So we will use Power Query for the data cleaning and transformation. So, but this is the data view. Model view, right now we have imported only one sheet. So we only have one sheet, but if we have multiple sheets, we need to create the connection between them, right? So we will understand how to create the connections. So now we understood what is the home tab about. We get the data, cleaning and transform the data, refresh, create visuals, build calculations, and then we publish. Now, what is here inside? And before that, okay, don't forget to save your file. So you have a save button here, the top left. You can click on the file menu, and then you can save. You can also save as the file if you want to save a different version without changing the previous version. Okay, so now you also have options to import another Power BI file from Excel, or a Power BI, Power Pivot file. You can also export this to the views to a PDF, if you want to share. And here you can publish the report. Now, before we go further, please complete this step here. Click on options and settings. Click on options. So here, if you open the options, if you are familiar with the Excel options, it looks the same, almost similar, but there are two sections here. One is the global, and another one is the current file. Now, any changes that you do under global, this will be applicable for all the Power BI files that you will be working with. But changes that you do in the current file is only for this file, particular file that we have open. Now we have the data load. Now here under data load, disable detect column types and headers for unstructured sources. Relationship, we will disable this auto detect new relationship after data is loaded. Okay. So these are the two changes that we need to do. And why? Because type detection is every column has a data type. In Power BI, data is stored in columns and rows. We know that. Every column has a data type. Now Power BI will automatically detect what is the column data type. So initially, we don't want Power BI to automate that step, detecting the column data type, which is an important step. So I will explain that when we use Power Query, so you will understand that. But right now, what we are doing is we are just disabling it so that there is no more confusion. Because when you look at my screen, you will find couple of extra steps, and you might be wondering, okay, no, I don't see those steps, or in your file you may have a couple of extra steps and which you may not find in my version. So that is why, just to be on the same page, we will disable these settings. Okay. And then the regional settings. And what is regional settings? Regional settings for this particular file, what is the region we are working with for the date and other formatting. So this is for India. So suppose if your system settings is US, in your computer settings is US, and you are working with an India file, you must change the regional settings to the local. I mean, whatever the file types you are working with. You are working for a US client and your system configuration is India, you should select this to English US. Okay. Now, when we start Power Query, I will explain this later in detail. So for now, I'll just click OK. So we have the options and settings. We just updated that. Okay. So do not worry if you are not updating it now. We will do that again when we move to Power Query. Now we understood about the home tab. The next one is the insert. So if you want to insert any object to the Power BI, use insert. So in Excel also we have insert, right? You can insert a chart, pivot table, uh, text box, images. So similarly, we have in Power BI also we have the insert menu. So you can insert a new page. So currently we only have page 1 here. So you can insert another page, or you can simply click here to add a new page. You can also insert a visual from here. These are different AI visuals. We'll cover this later when we start data visualization. Paginated reports basically used for printing, and then you can also connect to Power Apps and Power Automate here. You can connect to the Power Platform here, which is again another Microsoft offering. Okay, so now you can insert the text box. Suppose, how do you insert a header? So simply click the text box and you can insert a text box here, and you can insert a whatever header you want to insert. You can also insert various buttons. And why these buttons are used? See, these buttons are used to navigate. For example, move to left arrow, right arrow, reset, back button, and then bookmark. You can create a blank button. You can also apply slices. Okay, we'll talk about all this later, but you have the option to insert a button. You can also insert a shape. And why do you want to insert a shape? Suppose you want to insert a header or a navigation bar. So you click here, a shape, and then you can simply insert a shape. Right? And then you can also insert an image. For example, if you want to insert your logo, your client logo, you want to insert another image, any image for some actions. Okay, you can use the image option. So this is about the insert. So basically, insert is about inserting various objects into your Power BI file. So just let me know if you have any questions about any of this. Just let me know in the chat box. Modeling. What is modeling? So I told you modeling is about connecting data together, right? Modeling is about connecting data. So if you go to the modeling, you can manage the relationship. We don't have any relationship currently built. You can also build a measure from here. Measure is basically the calculations, and you can build a new column, new table. There are different options here, parameters. So we will cover this as and when we start building the data model. Okay, so this is about data modeling. View is about your themes, the different views setup. For example, you have different Power BI themes here, the default themes provided by Microsoft. So you can use one of these themes. You can also browse for themes, and you can customize the current theme and theme gallery. So this is about the look and feel of your report. Okay, so we will use our own themes, not the default themes. So we will build our themes, our colors later as when we start building our visualization. And you also have the different views: page view, fit to width, actual size. These are the different views, and then mobile layout. So currently, what you are seeing here is the desktop layout. So this is a desktop layout, and you know that you can deploy or you can publish Power BI to mobile as well, because when you download mobile from App Store or Play Store, and people want to see the Power BI reports, here the mobile view give you the ability to design your reports for mobile. And then here, if I click here, it will take me back to the desktop view.